I guess, essentially, JOT was created by Veikko Lessinen. As a person, he displays many of those qualities found in successful businessmen. It's an entrepreneur's task to put yourself on the front line and even go down with the ship if it comes to it.
With its 200,000 inhabitants, Oulu is the capital of northern Finno-Scandia. As many as 30,000 students, the youngest age structure in the whole of Europe, and high-tech know-how make Oulu the Silicon Valley of Europe. The city's past as the world's leading toy producer taught the locals to embrace the world and become international centuries ago. Nokia's radio telephone unit, which was located in Oulu, was remarkably successful already in the 1970s. Thanks to trade in Finland and Eastern Europe, radio telephones and radio links, as well as base stations for ARP networks, were manufactured in Oulu. At the end of the decade, engineer Lauri Kuokkanen resigned from Nokia and launched his own company, which started developing a duplex filter for radio telephones. A duplex filter meant that speech could be transmitted and received simultaneously without the inconvenience of having to press tangent.
It's perhaps difficult to overestimate the significance of Nokia to the development of the entire technology cluster in Oulu, as Nokia created a good market for a great number of companies. It was a large customer close by who required lots of skills, had the funds to pay for it, and in doing so, pushed companies' quality control systems and operations to an international level. In pushing companies in that way, it also helped them to be more successful than they would have been if they had concentrated on smaller or worse companies.
When the NMT network started operating in the Nordic countries in the 1980s, there was a major gap in the market for Lauri Kuokkanen and his company's expertise. Over the years and through ownership arrangements, LK Products became Europe's largest duplex filter manufacturer.
The people who work in the industry are fairly young, which contributes to the pioneer spirit in the field. I remember that one senior industrialist came to the technology village in its early years to check out a company, and the people working there looked to be students, and he wondered if they were actually employees or not. The average age of employees at the technology village was around 32 for a long time. That's 15 years lower than the average age in the industry, and gave a very young, pioneering, and optimistic impression of a positive outlook on the future. I suppose that even on a local scale, people couldn't believe it, and to be honest, they had good reason. I remember well that traditional senior industrialists were baffled as to what kind of state-of-the-art technology could come of the entire thing. It has no real significance and won't bring any noticeable benefit to Finland. At that moment, it didn't have any financial significance because operations took place on such a small scale, and it was mostly carried out by propeller heads. Later on, of course, it became apparent that the industry was indeed significant, and in the 1990s, Finland was saved from recession by the fact that IT took an upturn at just the right moment.
Veikko Lessinen worked at Lauri Kuokkanen Ltd. as a manager. He designed an automatic testing and adjustment device that helped the entire mobile telephone industry by speeding up the manufacturing time of duplex filters. The method also helped to improve the quality of the product. Lauri Kuokkanen's watch-and-try mentality and the successful automation product gave Veikko self-confidence to set up his own business. The Japanese production philosophy, just on time, became fashionable up north in Oulu too. It means that products move quickly and accurately to the client without unnecessary downtime in storage. It also gave a name to the new company. Suomen JOT Automation was registered as a business in 1988.
We were confident in our company's situation. Even the name itself is a philosophy. And that's without mentioning the products we make to fulfill that philosophy. Our business plan is extremely short, just on time. My wife and I both worked in the electronics industry. My wife, Aya, worked at Nokia, assembling electronic devices. One day, the topic of conversation turned to how work piles up in certain phases, and my wife suggested that there perhaps should be some sort of conveyor. The things women think of, I thought to myself. A conveyor indeed, and of course, I couldn't admit she was right. I didn't realize it at first, but in retrospect, it was a cunning and far-reaching idea. So on my lunch break, I went to the local register office to register the name, Suomen JOT, Palvelu, Oulu.
Maistraattiin rekisteröimässä nimeen Suomen JOT Palvelu Oy silloin.
A bank gave the new entrepreneur FEM $300,000 as a renovation loan, which enabled Vieco to launch his business. The brand new company's premises were initially at Lennison's house in Oulu, Salo. The first significant deal was the sale of a hot-cold testing line for the Mobiris factory in Äänekoski. It was time to expand the business with more determination.
What I remember about Veico when he came to the technology village to rent one room to start up a business at 32 was his attitude. It was really customer-orientated, and he believed in the motto of making the kinds of machines which the customer actually needs.
Seppo Kaupi became the company's technical director, and the company's ownership and finance base were also expanded. In 1989, the Finnish innovation fund Sitra joined the company as a venture capital investor. New 1,500 square meter premises were found in Hakkapudis. In addition to conveyor systems, circuit board processing systems and computer output conveyor, stacking, and retrieval equipment were all manufactured in the early years at the Hakkapudis premises. The message about JOT's high-quality work traveled fast, and soon JOT received work from Nokia and Nokia's Salo factory as well. In 1989, the company had as many as 30 employees. The depression in the early 1990s was brutal on electronics companies. JOT was working for almost every sector, from production machinery for the pharmaceutical industry and Rapellas fishing lure factory to packaging equipment for Polig and CD manufacturers. However, individual pilot projects tended to be unprofitable.
JOT is quite a typical company in that its first business idea wasn't what ultimately made it successful. At one point, we simply had to acquire a cash flow, so we made a kind of candle packing machine for Havi. It was a totally impossible project, and there was wax everywhere. In retrospect, it was a funny project in that it could never have been a success, but we tried anyway.
In 1993, Vieco Lessinen made the decision that in the future, JOT would concentrate solely on the electronics industry. The decision saved JOT. Production was increasingly focused on modular conveyor systems. Modularity meant that assembly lines were modified into something so simple to put together that by placing module after module, it was possible to build assembly lines to the customer's exact specifications.
We started off first by building a modular production system with my then business partner Seppo Kaupi, which meant that we developed our own kind of aluminum profiles, various components which could be assembled to manufacture different products, which then acted as the basic components of a machine assembly. Then we made various robot applications and manipulators on top of that. And then as requirements increased and our competence began to grow, we decided to refine this further, to make automatic lines for testing and assembly. It's from there that our level of requirements has grown consistently, bit by bit.
Product development had been carried out in boom time. However, by the time the products were manufactured, the market was depressed and JOT had accumulated a debt of $5 million. It was time to turn to the international market. The first significant step to becoming an international company was taken when JOT's Swedish sales office was opened in Stockholm and Mika Ketula started running it. Trading in Sweden was almost entirely with Ericsson's factories, but sales trips were increasingly often headed for further afield and all the way to Asia and America. The hard work started to pay off, and JOT's turnover doubled each year. In 1993, it had reached 15 million. The products sold by Lessinen often had to be invented, designed, and manufactured first. The order base was still strong, but the company was lacking working capital and growth guzzled cash. However, the entrepreneurs and his employees' endurance and faith never faltered. Not even when the taxman and Citra tried to file the company for bankruptcy. The way the staff was prepared to stand behind the company by collecting money and offering a temporary investment in the form of salary cuts speaks volumes about JOT's employees' commitment to the company business idea and entrepreneurship. Later on, this turned out to have been an excellent investment for many.
I spoke with Veikko Lessinen, and it seems that one of the preconditions for JOT's success was that the company has been able to predict and sound out the markets. Development Director Seppo Kauppi, is this one of the principles of the company's development operations? It is indeed very important for us to know well in advance what kind of systems our customers will need. Based on that, our own product development units design devices which can be utilized as components in a wide range of customer production lines.
The company moved to Oulun Salo and obtained larger premises for its growing production. It also sought growth through business acquisitions. And soon, a merger brought JOT a branch in Tallinn as well.
If we go back in time a little, then in 1988, when the company started up, there were originally 5 members of staff and turnover was 2.5 million Finnish marks. Today, this JOT group employs around 220 people, and turnover is the modern equivalent of around 130 million Finnish marks. And I would guess that in 2000 the turnover would be around 500 million Finnish marks, and our staff would include around 600 people.
In 1996, Jorma Terentjev became the company's new president and CEO, and Veikko Lessinen, the full-time chairman of JOT's board of directors. JOT received national coverage with its stock exchange listing plans and the National Export Business Award presented to the company by Nobel Prize winner President Martti Ahtisaari. The company's activities expanded and developed at a quick rate. In 1997, a precision engineering shop, JOT Tooling, was founded in Ruaki, and Wärtsilä Diesel became an important customer.
I'm also satisfied to say that the project we began years ago, setting up a machine shop here in Ruki, is turning out to be a successful venture. Basically, we started out with nothing. Now it's safe to say that taking a risk paid off. The result is the emergence of a dynamic machine shop serving some of Finland's leading export companies. And most importantly, it has created new jobs for a growing industrial region.
Another factory was founded in Irving, Dallas. The Dallas factory was 2,700 square meters in total and initially employed less than 40 people. In the early stages, the factory was more important than its size would indicate because it made the company more credible in the American market. The company made significant deals with, for example, Hewlett-Packard, which was the world's leading measuring equipment manufacturer and the second largest computer manufacturer.
Hello and welcome to Oulu in Finland, headquarters to JOT Automation, a leading manufacturer of automated solutions for the electronics industry in Europe and beyond.
Well, our customers are global and they're involved in a business with fast-growing new technologies and shorter product cycles. The answer, of course, is to partner with an automation solutions provider like JOT that can help them design, build, install the line or modify an existing line anywhere in the world. We firmly believe that if our customers are successful in their business and can get their product out to a global marketplace and on time, we at JOT will be successful as well.
In 1998, JOT was listed on the stock exchange. The turnover of the first half a year almost equaled that of the entire previous financial year. The issue price was FIM 875 million. But after a couple of years, as technology share prices went up, JOT's market value was at its highest, nearly FIM 14 billion. In 2000, the company celebrated yet another factory opening in Oulu. The factory was inaugurated by Minister of Finance Sauli Niinisto, who has since become the President of Finland. Around the same time, the company made a major deal in Germany. The factory manufactured the legendary Nokia 1100 mobile phones on JOT's assembly lines. To this day, more Nokia 1100 handsets have been manufactured than any other handset in the world.
Maybe in the future, you could investigate how significant JOT was to Nokia's success. JOT carried out some very essential production-related things at Nokia. So if you go from there and investigate what effect JOT's competence had on Nokia, the chain of effect could be unbelievably far-reaching, as it was in a great number of other companies it was involved in due to its competence.
In 2001, JOT opened a factory in China. The focus of the electronics industry was quickly moving to Asia. The founder of the company, Veikko Lessinen, gradually gave up all his JOT shares, and JOT became part of Electrobit Group from 2003 to 2007, and then of Rowetter Group from 2007 to 2011. In 2011, the sun returned, after JOT Automation became part of its founder's head investment group. JOT is once again a genuine family business, but now more international than ever.
JOT is actually a rare and exceptional success story for a Finnish company. And in doing so, hopefully it has also created a kind of model for many others on how to attain success. The story of JOT's development and growth is, it's safe to say, a unique case, not just in Oulu, but on a national scale. We consider the continuity of all human life to be very important. As such, we've set values for our company which must be adhered to on a global scale in the company. And of course, we provide even more additional value for our customers.
Today, the company operates in Europe, America, and Asia, and is part of a number of solutions that facilitate and safeguard people's daily lives. Over the years, JOT's key idea has been to listen to its customers and provide them with the best possible service. Now, 25 years after the company was founded, it has received the respected International Frost & Sullivan Customer Value Enhancement Award. The recognition is also an indication of the exceptional JOT spirit, which has been strong since the beginning.
And when you combine enough core competences, you're bound to come up with success.